Hey there, and welcome to EllAstrology. And today I am going to tell you why I think Virgo is the most observant and pure sign out of all the signs in the zodiac. Virgo is symbolized by the Virgin Maiden, and the sign Virgo is ruled by the planet Mercury. The qualities associated with the symbol of the Virgin are independence, purity, isolation, and perfection. People with strong Virgo aspects tend to strive to have a very pure existence and to have their surroundings, people they interact with, and their environments be in alignment with their vision of purity. Virgos avoid associating themselves with people, experiences, and places that do not uphold a high honor and a high standard. Virgos can be very controlling people, and they can also be quite critical towards their surroundings and other people around them if it does not adhere to the standard of perfection that they have in their minds. Virgos need to understand that not everybody can meet such a high moral criteria as what they do, and other people are just living life naturally. Others do not possess the level of obedience and self-control that Virgos do, and Virgos should not hold this against other people. Many times Virgos can criticize people for just doing what makes them who they are, and Virgos need to learn to accept that other people and the world around them is not always going to live up to their standards. The main reason for the criticism and the high expectation is because they are in essence pure themselves, and they expect others to live up to this standard. When Virgos realize that not everyone is a prim and proper goody two-shoes like what they are, they can get very displeased, and they try to enforce this onto others. Virgo's role and purpose on this earth is to purify the world around them. Virgos are the ones who implement the rules and the regulation that everybody needs to follow, because without the rules and the regulations, it will be a free-for-all, and everything will likely turn into chaos around us. Most people do not like Virgos because it can often seem that they have their nose up in the air. However, Virgos are just trying to make the world more beautiful, more pure, and more healthy for us all to live in. Virgos are very, very good at identifying flaws as well as fixing these flaws and improving things around them. Virgos often put more time, hard work, and effort into things than what other people do. Virgos often become incredibly frustrated at the lack of effort and ability from other people, and they feel that they always have to do everything themselves. However, Virgos are actually the ones themselves who are pressuring themselves to have everything be a specific way and not everyone else. They need to see this, and Virgos need to not blame everybody else for the pressure that they are consistently experiencing, because in essence, they're putting this pressure onto themselves. Virgos have a specific routine and a specific structure that they like to follow, and when this routine gets thrown out of balance, a Virgo can get extremely angry and frustrated. Virgos tend to be extremely detail-orientated, as their eyes can pick up on all the details that most people tend to overlook. Just like their fellow sign Gemini, Virgos love to talk. They make great conversationalists and writers, and they are incredibly intelligent with an ability to learn and process information faster than most other people. With Virgo and Gemini, you usually only have to show them something once, and they will know how to do it straight after. They learn incredibly quickly. Both Virgo and Gemini are actually ruled by the same planet, which is Mercury. And Mercury gives these two signs extremely active, busy, and observant minds. Due to this, you will find Virgos and Geminis get along very well, and they can talk to each other for hours on end without actually getting bored in each other's company. Both Virgo and Gemini tend to overthink a lot, and their thoughts can plague them. Virgos tend to suffer more from negative thought patterns and obsessive thoughts than what Geminis do. The reason for this is because Gemini is ruled by the light side of Mercury, allowing them to process thoughts more rapidly and quickly. Yet, they do not go into as much detail as Virgos, as Geminis aim to process as much information as possible and to not go too deep into every bit of information. Virgo, on the other hand, is ruled by the dark side of Mercury and goes way too deep into things, and they can tend to develop negative and obsessive thoughts due to this. Virgos can learn a lot from Geminis by not taking everything so seriously and realizing that not everything needs to be understood and explained entirely. Geminis can learn from Virgos that applying more focus and attention onto one thing instead of spreading yourself thinly can go a really long way toward achieving long-term success. Unlike Gemini, Virgos are not very sociable and outgoing people. Virgos tend to have social anxiety and they do not do very well in crowds. The reason for this is because they tend to overanalyze and overthink everything that is in their minds so much that they struggle to live in the moment and let things be without having to overanalyze and understand it. Because their minds are so busy and always processing, when they are faced with things in an actual physical situation that can be overwhelming, it can be tricky for them because there's so much going on and they're not able to rationally analyze each and every aspect of the situation that is happening and they have no control over it. I believe Virgo people tend to get social anxiety because they like to be in control of situations and of social settings. And if they're not in complete control of everything that is going on around them, they get very anxious. You can usually recognize a Virgo person by looking for the person in the room that is very busy. Virgos always have something to do. They always have something on their mind and there is always something they have to fix or a chore they have to tend to. Virgos just simply can't sit still. They're very busy and active people, and even when they're sitting still, they'll likely be shaking their leg and fidgeting. The reason for this is because their minds are so busy. Virgos really find it hard to just calm down and to rest and to just be in peace, as there is always something else that needs their attention. It is said because Virgos are so analytical, they have crystal clear vision and that they can see every situation and every aspect of life extremely clearly. Virgo gets along well with Sagittarius as they can also see the truth in a situation, and Sagittarius admires this in Virgo and vice versa. Most Virgo and Gemini eyes tend to be quite clear and quite sparkly like crystals. If you look into their eyes, there will be a sparkle somewhere. Virgos are incredibly critical of themselves. They're critical of how they look in photos and how they appear physically. Many Virgos can actually develop eating disorders and body dysmorphia if they do not learn to love themselves. They'll pay quite a lot of attention onto their physical appearance, and the females usually tend to be quite into beauty treatments and their healthy lifestyles. No one can criticize a Virgo as much as what a Virgo can criticize themselves. This is why other people's criticism doesn't seem to affect them, because they're already aware of all their flaws more than anyone else and they are already working on fixing them. Virgos are also known to be quite conservative dressers. The way they dress is very relaxed, usually practical and down to earth, and they do not tend to wear very exposing, flashy and revealing outfits either. Virgos prefer to buy useful, practical items for themselves, as well as gifts for others over dazzling, fancy items. Virgo is also known to be one of the most hardworking signs out of all the signs. And these people tend to overwork themselves to such a point where they can get a mental breakdown and they likely end up suffering from extreme anxiety and pressure due to the pressure that they put onto themselves. Virgos can often have anxiety attacks and they'll literally overwhelm themselves with so much thoughts and information and work that they cannot take it anymore and they just give in and they have to rest. Virgos can also get sick quite quickly as they tend to suppress their emotions in their body until it comes out as a physical ailment, such as stomach aches or headaches. Virgos mainly keep their anxiety in their stomach, so they can often suffer from stomach cramps, pains, and indigestion. When they experience stomach problems, it is a sign that there is a thought or an emotion that is bugging them that they need to deal with and they need to work through. Virgos tend to have quite a few emotional imbalances in their life due to being so anxious, and the heightened anxiety leads them to experience quite a few physical and emotional issues throughout their lifetime that they will likely apply a lot of focus onto healing with healthy lifestyle practices. Like most of your earth signs, they will be quite headstrong, very grounded, and they will also be quite stubborn. You will not get a Virgo person to do something that they do not want to do. And when you force a Virgo person to do something that they do not want to do, they will likely become extremely cold and bitter. Luckily, Virgo is a mutable earth sign, so unlike the other earth signs, Virgos are more flexible and adaptable to changes, new ideas, and new concepts. Virgos are usually homebodies, and they do not enjoy going out too much. If they do not want to go out or attend a social gathering, they might come up with an excuse as to why they cannot attend, or they might pretend to be ill. But it's really just because they don't feel like going and they don't want to disappoint others by saying that they do not want to go and that they don't feel like it, so they come up with an excuse. Virgos are known to be quite neat and tidy people unless they have some Pisces influences in their charts. One thing I've noticed is when a Virgo is quite stressed and when they are in the overthinking and analytical mindset, they are rather obsessed with order, neatness, and tidiness. The reason for this is because Virgos struggle to process all their thoughts and emotions when there is clutter in their physical environment. When a Virgo is in a more carefree mind state and they're not as stressed out as usual, then they don't tend to be as much of a neat freak and a perfectionist, and they can just live in the moment and be happy. It is rare to find a Virgo in this state, but when they are in this carefree state, the highly strung stereotype fades away and it's like being with an angel. Virgos really get put off by other people that are rude, crude, and people who don't have manners and are vulgar. They do not do well in situations where there is toilet humor and nasty jokes and nasty attitudes. Just like the symbol of the Virgin, they are pure and they have no tolerance for anything that is impure. They are relatively pure when it comes to how they see things, and they believe that other people, as well as themselves, should be quite well-mannered and good people. Virgos are often disappointed in others when they do not meet this high expectation that they set. Still, Virgos end up hurting themselves by placing extremely high expectations onto others that others are unable to meet in the first place. Virgos can be quite obsessed with health and lifestyle, and they're not just obsessed with their own health and their own lifestyle, but the people around them as well, unless they have significant Pisces influences. So you'll find that they tend to care about the health of their friends and family, and they'll care a lot about how you eat, whether you exercise, or if you sleep. Some people can find it extremely annoying when Virgos give them healthy lifestyle tips. However, it comes from a good place in their heart, and it is how a Virgo shows you that they care. So it's quite an interesting thing if you have a Virgo friend, especially a female Virgo friend. They tend to always ask you about your health, your diet, and they always tend to recommend healthy alternatives to your lifestyle. These people can be quite obsessed when it comes to their eating habits. They prefer to go towards the more healthy side of eating because they're very aware of their own body and their own health as well as their own mental health, and they know in order to be happy, this all has to be in unison. Virgos will do whatever it takes to stay in the perfect pure form for as long as possible, and due to this, Virgos tend to age very well as they live very healthy lifestyles. Virgo women and men tend to look better with age, not worse. Think Beyonce, Keanu Reeves, Cameron Diaz, Salma Hayek, Evan Rachel Wood, Michael Bublé, Ludacris, and Nick Jonas. Virgo people are very critical, and this is very true. I am a Virgo myself. If you have Virgo friends or you have a Virgo lover, you must know that they really do care a lot about you and they really do love you a lot. You must basically be pure and perfect in their eyes, because for them to not be super critical of you means that you have to meet up to their level of standards and they see you in a high light. If a Virgo enjoys being around you, you are likely a very well-mannered person who's just generally quite cool, and they can get along you quite easily without getting grossed out by your mannerisms or without feeling too anxious in your presence, which happens with most other people. I just want you guys to remember that Virgos may seem a little bit crazy. Still, at the end of the day, they just want everything to run smoothly, because most of these people have had so many problems in their lives and they have had to deal with so many things throughout their life that they'd rather not go through these things again. Virgos learn from experience and they do not make the same mistakes twice, which other people might find difficult to understand, and others see them as highly strung due to this. Virgos try to put every kind of contingency in place to make sure that nothing will go wrong. Also, so that they don't have to go through the bad experiences that they did before, because these bad experiences are basically what have led these Virgo people to be so anxious and to be so careful. Virgos also put these contingencies in place because they do not want to go and fix other people's mistakes when other people fail to think of these things. So when you're dealing with a Virgo person, just bear that in mind, and just bear in mind that it's not always very easy for these people to relax and to just take things easy, because in the back of their mind, they're thinking what's going to go wrong and how this is going to affect everything and everyone negatively. A really good way to get a Virgo person to relax is to just say to them, "Hey friend, we're going out tonight. I'm gonna pick you up. I'm gonna be driving, I'm going to pay for the drinks and dinner, and you can just relax, let loose, and have the best time ever." Then you will see your Virgo friend will feel great, because they won't have to worry about their finances. They won't have to worry about getting home safely, being the responsible one, the designated driver, or anything like that. And they can just have fun and be carefree and let loose, which happens very rarely in their life due to all the responsibilities they have. A Virgo will be in the best mood and in the best mindset when they can be carefree and when they have nothing to worry about, which is very rare, as the world tends to overwhelm these poor Virgos with so many responsibilities. Thank you so much for watching my video on Virgo and why I think Virgo is the most perfectionistic and pure sign out of all the signs in the zodiac. If you have anything you'd like to add in the comments, please let me know. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I've added the links to my Patreon in the description to this video if you would like to become a patron of mine, as well as the links to my social media if you would like to follow me. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.